How's it going, everybody? This is Darrin with GuitarControl.com bringing you this video lesson, and today I want to show you how to play the first part of the guitar solo for Eastbound Down by Jerry Reed. So right now Guitar Control is giving away this really awesome daily practice routine to improve your lead guitar chops. This was put together by our very own Silvio Gazquez, a two-time Guitar Idol finalist. This routine covers the four main concepts that are necessary for lead guitar: alternate picking, legato, sweep picking, and tapping. All the tabs and exercises are all included in this free ebook. There's a link in the description where you can get yours. So be sure to click on the link in the description for the tabs, and let's get close up and take a look at this. Alright, so this is actually really cool, and I think it's a lot of fun to play, and this somewhat goes along with the theme we've been doing lately with these pentatonic sequences. So here we're going to get some experience with using some double stops. Now this has bending in it that's clear down here on the second fret, and it is difficult to get these bends. But when you hear this in the song, it's like leading up with before it goes into that. So that's what I've got on there, is that, you know, you're 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1. So just open 2, 3, and then it goes into the riff. So that part's optional. So the actual main thing for this, we're on the second fret of the G string, and we're going to bend it a full step. Now when I'm doing this, sometimes you're going to see me pull it, and other times push it. It mostly just depends on how my finger's feeling at the time. On this particular thing, it doesn't really, it's not really going to matter which way you go. Alright, so we've got that first bend, so it's a full step bend. Then we're going to do it again, bend and release to the open string. And then back to the second fret again with another bend. So then we're going to go to the D string, open, hammer to the second fret, and then follow that with the open G string. So that's like it's the second measure on the transcription, but it's like basically the first measure of this riff. Okay, then starting on the next measure, so measure 3, we're going to bend this again twice, and then pick, pull to open, and then to the second fret of the G string, or excuse me, the D string. So. Alright, so that's the first 3 measures, the first part of the riff. Okay, and then starting on measure 4, we're going to do the bend on the second fret of the G string still. Then we're going to go open, hammer to 2, pull to open. So, and then it has a rest, so it's like. And we do it a second time, and the thing that's different on the second time, instead of having that 8th note rest, we're actually going to go to the 3rd fret on the D string. So we got, and it's got a bend on it. So. And then we follow that with so that's the whole 4th measure. Then starting on the 5th measure, open D string, and now here's where we're going to get into the little double stop part. So there's a couple of ways that you can, for technique wise, to do this. So you hit that open D string, and then we're going to do this double stop, this 4th dyad here. So I'm just barring the 3rd fret of the B and the high E string with my first finger. Then we're going to go to the 5th fret of the B and G string, so I use my 3rd finger. Then we're going to move that down to the 3rd fret, B and G string, and then the G and B string open. So you can go. Or you could hybrid pick it, and this is more like how Jerry Reed would have been playing it. At least that's what I believe to be true. So I'm going to pick the D string with the pick, and then I'm going to use my second and third fingers to pluck the B and high E string, and then use them to do the B and the G string. So this next part here is the most awkward part in my opinion. Okay, so after you do that, and you play the open B and the G string, you have a 16th note rest there. So so it's just barely just a second of rest. So what you can do is move your first finger so it's picking up the 3rd fret of the D string, and then a couple of ways that you could do this. You're going to go 3, and then you're going to go 5 on the A string, and then 4 slide to 3. So it's kind of awkward to decide which fingers, because as soon as you do that, then we're going to come up to the 6th fret on the low E string and pick that and slide to 7. So you know, you're going to kind of have to work that out for yourself, what you feel is the most efficient way, the best way to do that as far as fingerings. When I come up here, for sure, I want to use my 3rd finger, or at least my 2nd finger, because then the next note is the 5th fret on the D string. So that's how I tend to do it. But I want to do that there so I can be ready for that, because that's what, you know, moving into the next part. Okay, so after we do that 6 slide to 7, and that is on measure 6. So we do that 6 slide to 7, skip the A string, go to the 5th fret of the D string. Then we're going to go to the 7th fret. So I'm going to use my 3rd finger to go to that 7, because I'm going to pick 7, slide to 8, slide to 9. And then the next notes are on the G string, 7 and 9. So this way I can go. Now the next one is on the 7th fret of the G string, and it's a slide to 9. Now normally I would probably use my 1st finger, but the next note is here on the 8th fret of the B string. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my middle finger, and I'll use my 1st finger there, because the next thing is the 10th fret where we have to bend. So it's all about kind of setting yourself up when you're choosing which fingers you use to play something, because it isn't always just because you see somebody else do it a certain way. That isn't always going to be necessarily the best way for you to do it. So you kind of have to look when you're figuring this out, look to see what's coming next in the next phrase, so that way you can set yourself up to that. You know, sometimes you have to kind of split the difference of, you know, what you want to do versus what's best for the segue. Now, after I do that chromatic slide up, 7, 8, 9 on the D string, then I'm going to go to the 7th fret on the G string with my middle finger and slide to 9, and then follow that with the 8th fret on the B string. Now I'm going to keep my 1st finger there on the 8th fret of the B string, but now I'm going to put my 3rd finger so it's on the 10th fret, and then my middle finger's on the 9th fret here, so that way I can get that assisted bend. So now we've got 2 full step bends, and then so bend, bend, 10, 8, back to 9 here on the G string with my middle finger. We're going to go back to 10 again. So this is where we're going to wrap it up. So we're going to go 10 full step bend, then release it and pick again. So then 8, and our first finger's already there. And then we're going to slide that down to the 6th fret. So then we're going to go to the 7th fret of the G string. Just use my middle finger. Now I'm going to reach over and I'm going to bar, do another double stop here. I'm going to bar the 5th fret of the G and the B string, and I'm going to bend that and release it, and then shift my hand position back. So now this is another part that's really awkward. I'm not completely set in stone that this is the way I'm going to, the fingering that I'm going to use for it. Now I'm going to shift down a half step, so my first finger's going from the 5th fret of the G string to the 4th fret, and I'm going to set my middle finger on the 5th fret, and we're going to pick that and pull to 4. So, and then follow that with the 5th fret of the D string. Then we're going to go to the 6th fret of the B string, so I use my my ring finger, and then I'm going to do a double stop again, 5th fret of the G and the B string. Then down to the 3rd fret with a bend, and then finally ending here on the 5th fret of the D string. Now the whole thing. All right, so there you have it. Eastbound and Down by Jerry Reed, by the late, great Jerry Reed. So if you like this lesson, be sure to give me a thumbs up and leave a comment down below if you have any questions about this or other guitar-related topics. If you've not already done so, please subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of the content that we upload throughout the week. Well, that is all I have for you today. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.